Look at this nonsense. So Caitlyn goes down. Somehow she gets the ball out and get it to AB. AB gets a wide open shot. But look at this. First off, AT puts the knee all on her leg. She's dropping on top of her. This is a foul. By the way, that wasn't called. Dropping on top of her, putting the knee on her leg. Then look, another knee in the groin. It went from leg to groin. And then look at the fist. Look at this, man. She is pushing down on Caitlyn here. Then she's going to hit in the throat. Watch this.
The entire atmosphere changed the moment Caitlin Clark hit the floor. Coming into this matchup, Caitlin Clark was doing exactly what Caitlin Clark has done throughout her rookie season and beyond, forcing defenses into impossible decisions, stretching the floor, creating shots for teammates, and putting enormous pressure on opposing stars. Every possession featuring Caitlin Clark felt dangerous. Every touch from Caitlin Clark forced defenders to react. Every transition opportunity created by Caitlin Clark threatened to turn into another scoring run. Then came the collision involving Alyssa Thomas. What made the moment so explosive wasn't simply that Caitlin Clark went down. It was that the sequence immediately became the center of a much larger debate surrounding Caitlin Clark, physical play, officiating, and how opponents choose to defend one of the most influential players in women's basketball. As Caitlin Clark continued attacking, the intensity around Caitlin Clark seemed to rise with every possession. The game itself was becoming increasingly emotional. The crowd was engaged, the benches were engaged, the stars were engaged, and right in the middle of that intensity stood Alyssa Thomas. For years, Alyssa Thomas has built a reputation as one of the toughest and most physical players in professional basketball. Alyssa Thomas thrives in contact. Alyssa Thomas embraces confrontation. Alyssa Thomas plays with an edge that has often made opponents uncomfortable. But when Caitlin Clark ended up on the floor, discussion immediately shifted from physical basketball to something far more controversial. Was Alyssa Thomas simply playing hard, or had Alyssa Thomas crossed a line against Caitlin Clark? That question became the defining storyline of the night. Because while the scoreboard still mattered, the focus had already shifted toward the condition of Caitlin Clark, the actions of Alyssa Thomas, and the consequences that could follow if Caitlin Clark was unable to continue.
And now all of a sudden, Caitlin Clark is out of the game, man. She is out of the game. She shot the ball. I think she shot it, and then it was kind of like a closeout foul, reckless closeout, but they didn't call it. They just called it a regular foul. She fell back, landed on her back, and then she started holding her back. So I knew right there. I said, oh, man, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying, man? Hey, KTV, you was right, big dog. Bring the mouthpieces out, all of that, man, because this is nonsense. We already felt this game was going to be crazy, right?
The most immediate concern wasn't the foul itself. The biggest concern was Caitlin Clark leaving the game. Before the injury scare, Caitlin Clark appeared completely in control. Caitlin Clark was orchestrating the offense, creating open looks, and steadily building another stat line that was beginning to look routine for a superstar. 19 points, 8 assists. The pace suggested Caitlin Clark was on her way toward another massive performance. That is what made the timing so significant. The moment Caitlin Clark exited, the conversation instantly became larger than one possession. Because when Caitlin Clark leaves the floor, the entire structure of Indiana changes. Spacing changes, tempo changes, decision-making changes, defensive attention shifts. Every opponent prepares specifically for Caitlin Clark because Caitlin Clark alters the geometry of the court. That is why so many reactions focused on Alyssa Thomas. Supporters of Caitlin Clark saw the sequence involving Alyssa Thomas and immediately connected it to the injury that followed. Critics of Alyssa Thomas argued that the physicality from Alyssa Thomas had crossed beyond normal competition. Meanwhile, defenders of Alyssa Thomas pointed toward the reality of professional basketball. Alyssa Thomas has always been known as a physical player. Alyssa Thomas has spent years winning games through toughness, strength, and relentless effort, but perception matters. And once Caitlin Clark disappeared from the game, every replay involving Alyssa Thomas became magnified. Every angle was analyzed. Every movement was scrutinized. Every piece of contact between Alyssa Thomas and Caitlin Clark became evidence for one side or the other. The result was a controversy that quickly overshadowed the basketball itself. Instead of discussing another dominant offensive performance from Caitlin Clark, fans were debating whether Alyssa Thomas should have faced harsher penalties. And that debate only intensified as the game continued without Caitlin Clark on the floor.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing, man. And here's the shot where Caitlin, she went up, got the foul, landed, and watch how she hold her back. Look at that. Man, I can't believe this, man. I can't believe this. We knew the tension was going to be there, but I did not think that they were going to attack Caitlyn like this, man. This is crazy work. Starting with Alyssa Thomas, man. Come on, man. Oh, my goodness. Get her out of the league, man. I'm sick of it. Man. It's dirt.
What makes situations involving Caitlyn Clark so unique is the pressure attached to every moment. Few players enter the league carrying the expectations that Caitlyn Clark carries. Every arena sells tickets because of Caitlyn Clark. Television ratings rise because of Caitlyn Clark. National attention follows Caitlyn Clark everywhere. That reality creates a different psychological environment. Opponents know they are facing Caitlyn Clark. Fans know they are watching Caitlyn Clark. Officials know millions are discussing Caitlyn Clark. And teammates understand that Caitlyn Clark is often the focal point of every defensive game plan. For Alyssa Thomas, that creates a difficult balance. Alyssa Thomas has never built her career around avoiding contact. Alyssa Thomas attacks physically. Alyssa Thomas imposes strength. Alyssa Thomas wins battles through force and positioning. Historically, many great leagues have featured similar figures: physical enforcers, aggressive defenders. Players who test opponents mentally and physically. The question is where competitiveness ends and recklessness begins. That line is often subjective. One fan sees toughness. Another fan sees excessive contact. One analyst praises intensity. Another analyst criticizes the same play. That is exactly why the Alyssa Thomas versus Caitlyn Clark storyline exploded, because both players represent different basketball identities. Caitlyn Clark represents offensive creativity, pace, shooting, and playmaking. Alyssa Thomas represents strength, pressure, defense, and relentless physical engagement. When those identities collide, emotions follow. And once Caitlyn Clark appeared hurt, the emotional response became unavoidable. The incident transformed from a basketball play into a symbol of a larger conversation surrounding how opponents choose to challenge Caitlyn Clark.
Then in the second quarter, to start the quarter off, she didn't play. Then they brought her in. I want to say it was like 7-something. It was 7.5 minutes. And then they took her out again a little after this, and she didn't come back in. I was like, dang, man, where is Caitlyn? And I'm looking. I'm like, yo, where is Caitlyn? She's not even on the sideline. Once I saw that, I said, oh, no, something's not right. Something's not right, man. At first, because I was like, dang, Stephanie, why you don't put Caitlyn back out there? She's cooking right now. Come on.
The long-term implications may be even bigger than the immediate controversy. If Caitlyn Clark misses significant time, Indiana's entire trajectory changes. Every playoff scenario changes. Every rotation changes. Every strategic adjustment changes. The franchise has invested heavily in building around Caitlyn Clark because Caitlyn Clark is not merely a star player. Caitlyn Clark is the centerpiece of the organization's future. That is why every injury concern involving Caitlyn Clark immediately becomes major news. From a business perspective, Caitlyn Clark drives unprecedented interest. From a competitive perspective, Caitlyn Clark drives Indiana's offense. From a league perspective, Caitlyn Clark remains one of the most discussed athletes in sports. Meanwhile, Alyssa Thomas now finds herself attached to a controversy that will likely follow her for quite some time. Whether fair or unfair, moments like this become part of a player's public identity. Every future matchup between Alyssa Thomas and Caitlyn Clark will now carry additional tension. Every hard foul involving Alyssa Thomas will receive additional scrutiny. Every physical exchange between Alyssa Thomas and Caitlyn Clark will be replayed and analyzed. That's how rivalries evolve, not through press conferences, not through social media, but through moments that fans refuse to forget. And if Caitlyn Clark returns healthy and motivated, the next encounter with Alyssa Thomas could instantly become one of the most anticipated matchups on the schedule. Because the story is no longer just about a single game. The story is now about unfinished business between Caitlyn Clark and Alyssa Thomas.